guys. Alright, so I'm going to do a outfit changing. And this is Mr. Lucas. He's on the channel. He's from Adali, but Adali is no longer selling this particular baby. So as I'm changing him, I gotta undress him first. I'm gonna keep these socks on her. As you guys probably know, my grandma passed away a couple weeks ago. It's been really hard on me. She was the grandma that I grew up with, the grandma that I knew the most. So I wanted to talk about her, talk about a few things, whatever. This might be, I might do 1 or 2 videos of this, but I'm not sure. But my grandma was born in 1937. And I don't remember, but my grandma and grandpa was married 60 years at least, before he passed away. He passed away about 5 years ago. And then during all the COVID stuff, I couldn't see my grandmoms. I live 3 hours from them. And I normally go down and see my mom and then see my grandma right after seeing my mom. And sometimes my mom and me would go together. But of course, because of COVID, I couldn't do that because she was in a nursing home. My grandma was. So I'm putting this on him. This is a 12-month Star Wars little outfit. Now, 12-month on pants and a short sleeve shirt works on Lucas here. 18-month I prefer on long sleeves because of his chunky arms. But back to my grandma. So there for a few years I couldn't see her because of COVID. So then we finally started being able to see her again. And then, like I said, she passed away about 2 weeks ago. We knew it was coming. I got an email from my mom a few days before she passed that grandma wasn't doing very good. But I couldn't get down to see her before she passed. So she passed. I went down there for the funeral. Megan went down there, my dad. My other 2 girls didn't want to, which is fine. They didn't really know her. I moved up here when they were younger, so they didn't know her. But growing up, there for quite some time, I was the only granddaughter. Until one of my uncles finally started having kids, and he had 3 granddaughters back to back. But therefore, I think I was 12, 13. No, it wasn't that old. Maybe 8 or 9 when he started having kids. So there for quite some time, I was the only granddaughter. I did have a cousin that she had cerebral palsy, but she passed away whenever she was young. So she would have been the second granddaughter, but because I was the oldest either way. So I remember my grandma and me having fun together, and of course there was some downtime. Like there's times that I remember me and her getting into fights and all that. Well, not fights, but arguments like some kids do. It doesn't always sunshine and roses with kids. But the really memory I remember the most about her is I used to spend the night. And she used to get up. My grandpa would work thirds, so she'd get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to make his breakfast, so he can come home and sleep, either sleep or take her places. Because my grandma never got a license. She used to tell us kids that she never got a license because every time she got behind the wheel, she'd get pregnant. And then of course, as we got older, we would tell her Grandma, don't you know how that happens? It's not because the car. But it was like a little inside joke. But so Grandpa would come home, eat breakfast, and then either sleep or do what he needs to do to help Grandma out. Grandma has always been a stay-at-home mom. She had 8 kids. Yeah. Would have been 9, but one of the babies died of a double pneumonia. I cannot pronounce that word. But one of the babies died of that. So this is Carson. I was going to go ahead and get his twin brother. Oh, that's Lucas, sorry. I was going to go ahead and get his twin brother Carson dressed too. Whoops. So this is Carson. He's the same sculpt as Lucas over there, but he's blonde hair with open eyes. As I said, they both came from a dolly, but they are no longer selling this particular sculpt. And he's going in this. This is 2T, so it might be a tad big on him, but that's okay. It's another little. And then I have Gabby over there that I might change to. I consider these 3 triplets. But Grandpa would come home by 5, and then so when I'm spending the night over there, I'm sleeping in the living room, of course, and Grandma would come down and start banging around in the kitchen. And of course, me being a young kid, I'd try to cover my head up and grumble like, Grandma, I'm trying to sleep here. And you know how young kids can be. And but now thinking back on that particular memory, it's like you don't realize until they're gone on how that I should have gotten up and I should have maybe helped her. I should have spent more time with her. There's just so much of I should have done this that I don't know. I know you can't change the past, and I did what typical kids do. I grumble and I gripe, and I tried to get as much sleep as I could. Because 5 o'clock in the morning as a young kid is like torture almost. But when you become an adult, you realize that me personally, family is everything. You can't get, well, I guess you could get places without family, because there's a lot of people out there without family. But if you don't have family, you have friends like family. And that's okay too. But I believe family is everything. If it's your biological family, if it's your adopted family, if it's your friends that you treat like family, anything that you refer to as family is everything. And I think I get that from my grandma, because grandma was our person that kept the family together. We had Christmases together. We had Thanksgivings together because of grandma. Even whenever the kids her kids got older and started having kids, we still came together at least for one of the holidays. It was mainly Christmas. I remember going over there to one of the kids' houses and have Christmas, and we'd have presents and all the fun stuff. But it's just, you don't realize until the person that you love is gone that you should have spent more time with them. And there's nothing you can do about it. And I think that's what is affecting me. Because when my grandpa passed away, I had not seen him in like years. As I moved up here when my youngest was 3, and I had not seen him in like 5-6 years before he passed. And that broke me, because it's like I should have gotten down there sooner. And then when Grandma went in the nursing home, it's like I got to see her more often than Grandpa. I just got to. I'm kind of not happy, but I kind of, because the last 2 years of Grandpa's life, he had Alzheimer's. And I know that's how some people doesn't, like, he wouldn't have remembered me. So I'm not happy I didn't see him, but in a way, I think I was okay with it, because at least the last 2 years, I should have seen him before he had Alzheimer's. But so I'm not for sure. Like I said, I've been having a hard time with Grandma's death. I've been thinking about her daily. I recently opened up the new stalls, which will eventually be on the channel. That one of them was from 1958, and it's like my grandma could have played with the stall. And it's like, did my grandma play with these dolls? Now I do have an aunt that's still alive. It's her younger sister. I messaged her to see if she had any like kid photos of Grandma playing with dolls or anything. And I found out when my aunt was 9 years old, they had a house fire and everything burnt. So that means all the pictures from when my aunt was born to 9 years old, and of course she's younger than my grandma. So that meant everything my grandma owned had burned too. So those pictures are lost forever, which is sad, because I have some pictures on my dad's side of some of my grandparents as young kids. I was hoping to get some for my mom's side, my grandparents as young kids, but that's not going to happen, because as far as I know, all those pictures are gone because they were burnt. Which is so sad. Because back then, I don't think they would, like, when I was a kid, we'd develop pictures, and then we would get doubles, and we'd share them around as a family. I know now it's all digital, but when I was a kid, it wasn't. So I think back in, well, it had to be, Grandma was born in 1937, so it had to be in the 40s, 50s, probably 40s. I don't think pictures was readily available as they were when I was a kid. So I don't know if like any of the other family members had some that wasn't involved in the house fire. But tracking those down would be very hard, because I don't know that side of the family very much. I just knew Grandma. I know her sister. And then there's another sister that's alive. I think my grandma and grandpa, my great grandma and grandpa, I think they had 9 to 11 kids. I don't know why back then they had so many kids, but they had anywhere from 9 to 11 kids, and only 3 of them is alive today. I think 2 of them might have died as children, but I'm not for sure. I know my grandma in St. Louis, my dad's side of grandma, did a family tree, and I can look at that later and see how many kids, but that comes in helpful whenever I'm like wondering about it. But I'm sorry I'm going on for so long. But this is kind of helping me a little bit to get off my chest. If you guys don't like it, I'm sorry. But I wanted to do this video. Let me know if you guys want to do me do another video of Grandma. But this is Lucas and Carson. And I'll change Gabby off screen. And I'll either take a picture or I'll be back. Probably take a picture of them together. Because like I said, I consider these 3 triplets. They're about the same size. These 2 are the same sculpts, except one's asleep, one's awake. And if you guys don't know, they're the remanufactured Joseph sculpt. Which he is adorable. I've been wanting the Joseph sculpt for a while. And I think the true sculpt isn't that bad of a price nowadays. Because I think it's because there's so many of them around. But if you want him, I would check on Mercari, eBay. Sometimes you can find cheap reborn dolls real cheap. Even Facebook Marketplace. I love the blonde hair. And Carson's videos aren't out yet. I will probably try to get him out on Friday. But we'll see. This particular video is going to go up Wednesday. And then Lucas, of course, is out. Gabby's video is out too. So, thank you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this.